Hello everyone, IPL 2024 is starting today and I thought it's a pretty good time to take up an SQL problem related to IPL, and that's exactly what we have for today. Now, as you can see, this is the problem statement. I have taken this data set from Kaggle. It has information about all the matches that happened in IPL 2023. So we have the match number, the round number, the date when the match happened, the location where the match happened, the two teams who participated in the match, the home team and the away team, and the team who won the match, right? All of this information is present in this table, and we have information about all the 74 matches that happened last year. Okay. Now what we need to do is we need to identify the maximum winning streak for each team. Now, what do you mean by winning streak? It basically means the matches that a particular team won at a stretch, the continuous matches they won at a stretch. Okay. And we need to know how many maximum matches did each of the teams won at a stretch. Okay. And that is what we are looking for. Now, there are some additional test cases that we need to test once we come up with this solution for this particular data set. Number one, update the dataset such that when Chennai Super Kings win match number 17, your query shows the updated streak. So what they are saying is, once you have this dataset, you just try to do some modification in the dataset. For example, for this particular row, here Rajasthan Royals won the match, but we need to update it such that Chennai wins the match, and then we need to run the query and it should still show the updated winning streak. Okay. And then the second one is update the dataset such that Royal Challengers Bangalore lose all their matches, and your query should populate the winning streak as 0 for them. Okay. So these are the couple of updates that we need to do once we have come up with our first solution. Okay. So our final output should look something like this. So we should have the data for all the teams, all the 10 teams, and then we should have their maximum winning streak. Okay. So this is the problem that we are going to be solving today. I hope you understand the problem statement. And as always, you'll be able to find all of these materials in my blog as well as in my Discord. So you can definitely download it and try to solve it on your own. Now, similar to this, if you want to solve more SQL interview problems or interesting SQL problems for free, then I'm going to leave some links to some of the blogs from the LearnSQL.com platform. Now, all of these links are basically free. You can just check them out and you can practice those SQL queries which are present in the blog. Now, along with these free blogs that LearnSQL posts on their website, they also provide a lot of different SQL courses. Now, they have around 70 plus SQL courses, and there are some courses related to learning different concepts of SQL, and there are some concepts that are specific to practicing SQL queries. Now, if you want to practically learn SQL in the most easiest way possible, then I would highly recommend you to check out the LearnSQL.com platform. Now, very quickly, I just want to show you one of the most popular tracks on the LearnSQL.com platform, and that is SQL from A to Z. Now, if I click on it, it's basically a track. It includes 7 different courses. Now, let's say even if you do not want to purchase this course, you will still get access to 84 free coding challenges. Okay. So even if you don't want to purchase this course, I think you can still do these free challenges that you already have in as part of this track. Okay. Now, just to quickly show you, as part of this track, you have few different courses. So initially it starts with the SQL basic course. Then they get into the standard SQL functions. Then I think there are some DML operations that you will need to learn. Then there is a course about the basic SQL reports, then window functions, recursive queries, and finally group by extensions in SQL. Okay. Now, just if we check the SQL basics course, I just want to show you what is the course content. Now, if I just see here, first of all, you have an introduction about what basically a relational database is, what tables are, columns and rows are. So these are the most fundamental things that you need to know when you're getting started with SQL. Once you know that, then you basically have some exercises related to how do you fetch data from a table, right? Then how do you fetch data from multiple tables, then aggregation and grouping. Then you learn about all the different types of joins, subqueries, set operations, and finally you have the quiz to complete this course. Now, I think this is a pretty good way to get started with learning SQL. So if you are just getting started with SQL, this is a pretty good course to take. Now, if you want to learn more about this platform, I'll leave a link in the video description. So definitely check them out. And thank you LearnSQL for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back into our IPL problem and try to solve it. Now I'm using the PostgreSQL database and I'm using the pgadmin tool. I have already created the IPL results table as you can see here. Okay. Now, what do we need to do? We need to come up with the winning streak, right? So first of all, we have information about all the 74 matches, but our result that we need or the expected output that we need is specific to each team, right? Whereas here, there is no column as teams, right? Basically, we have the home team and the away team. So if I want to find all the matches for, let's say, one particular team, they could either be in this column or they could be in this column, right? So my first task is basically I need to come up with a query to find out all the different teams, right? Once I have all the different teams, that is, I know there are totally 10 teams. Once I have that, then I'll probably use that to join with this particular table to then get the number of matches for each team. So I will try to get the data for the number of total, all the matches that each team has played. And then from there, I'll try to build the logic to come up with the winning streak. Okay. Now, first and foremost, if I want to find the total teams, what I can do is, let me just put it here. I'll just tell the team can either be a home team or they can be an away team, right? Whenever I have this kind of a requirement, I can just use an union operator and I'll say home team and away team. And if I run this, now you can see that I am getting the 10 records. These are all the 10 teams that are available in IPL in our data set. So this was my first step. And what I'll do is I'll just move this into a CTE. So with CTE as, and I'll just move this to the right. And then I told you the next thing is I just want to join these total teams with my input table, right? So I'll just tell select from CTE, join it with, in fact, I'm just going to name it like CTE teams. Okay, probably I'm going to have a little more CTEs today. So I'll just call it like CTE teams and I'll give an alias like T. I want to join it with my IPL results table. And my join column is going to be, first of all, let me give an alias here. Let's say R. Okay, and I want to say R dot home team is equal to T dot teams. Okay, let me give an alias here as well. I'll just call it like teams and I'll call it like teams. Okay, and then here I'll just tell T dot teams, or it can also be an away team, right? So I'll just copy the same thing. I'll put it here and I'll say away team. Okay, because the team can either be a home team or an away team. So I have joined these two tables. And now let's say, first of all, let me just do a star. Okay, now you can see I'm getting 148 records. Okay, now the reason why I'm getting 148 records is because now this basically represents the matches played for each team. So let's say 10 teams, each team minimum plays 14 matches. So 14 into 10 is 140, right? But we have 148. These 8 additional matches are basically the semi-final matches, the final matches, etc. Right? So that is the count that I'm getting and this looks fine. Now, first of all, let me just fetch the fields that I need. I want to fetch dates and then I need teams, right? For which team this particular record is. And just for your understanding, maybe we'll also use the concat of, let's say, home team, and I'll just put a symbol like, let's say, versus. Okay, and I'll say away team. Okay, and this is like, I'll call it like the match. Okay, and then I need the result, right? In fact, I'm just going to put the teams probably here. Okay, and I think that's all. These are the only fields I need. If I run it now, so this is the date when the match happened. This is the match is happening between. Now this particular records that I have taken is just for Lucknow Super Giants. Okay, just for one team. And here I am seeing who won that particular match. If I just show you in detail, you can see that for Lucknow Super Giants, or if I just, yeah, I think there should be, okay, 15 records. Probably because maybe Lucknow Super Giants were in the semi-final, so they played one more match. Then let's say for Royal Challengers Bangalore, I think there are just 14 records because these are all the matches. So for each team, the total number of matches that they have played, I have just got all the details here, right? And for each team, what happened in each of their matches, their result is mentioned here. Now what I need to do is I need to come up with the logic. Using this column, I need to see the streak, right? The maximum winning streak. Now easily I can see here Lucknow Super Giants won 3 matches at a stretch, right? And I hope the date is in order, but just to be 100% sure, I'll just say order by dates. Okay, so that we are looking for consecutive matches. Now order by dates, comma, I want to also teams, right? And now, okay, sorry, I should not do this, but I should do teams because I want all the data segregated as per each team and then the dates. Now I think this is fine. Okay, so now first I'm getting Chennai Super Kings, totally 16 matches because they were in the finals as well. And this is all the matches they played in sequence. And here, if I see the maximum winning streak, I think they have, okay, 3 matches they won here. Okay, that is maximum, and even 3 here. But the maximum streak is still 3, right? So for Chennai, we should get the result as 3 as the maximum winning streak. Now comes the interesting part. How do you build a logic to identify these winning streaks, right? Now I'm going to use a simple logic to find this. So what I'll do is basically, first of all, there is no unique row number here, right? So I'm going to add a unique row number here because I will need it. Okay, so I'm just going to use the row number window function. So I'll say row number, okay, and I'll say over, and I want to partition it by teams because I want all the matches specific to each team. I want to process them separately. Okay, so partition by teams and order by, I would say, teams comma dates. Okay, and I think this, I will just call it like ID. And now if I run it, now I don't even need the order by because it will sort based on whatever window functions I have given here, right? Now we have created the unique ID for each record. The next thing is to identify the winning streak. Now I'll be using a simple logic to find this. Okay, what I'm going to do is from this data, first of all, I'll just filter it for only one team, okay, because it will be confusing if I take all the teams. So just for the sake of simplicity, I'll just tell where teams equal to Chennai Super Kings. So I'll just copy this and I'll put it here. Okay, so now if I just run this, now I'm only getting 16 records. This is only for one particular team. Now I'll just create another CT. Okay, so I'll just move this to the right. I'll just call this like, let's say CTE. I'll just call it like CTE for now. Okay, and then if I just move this and here, and then here I'm just going to say select star from CTE. If I run it, it's still the same. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to use this ID field and I want to try to come up with a logic such that wherever there is a streak, they will kind of have a same value. Okay, so here they should have the same value, here they should have the same value, so that I could then group the data to finally identify the maximum items or rows in each group. Okay, now first and foremost, what I need to do is I'm only interested in the records where Chennai has won the match, because currently I'm only looking for Chennai, the data for Chennai, and I'm only interested where Chennai has won the match. So I'll just put a filter here. Let's say saying where result equal to the same team. Okay, so or I can just use the teams, right? So instead of hard coding it, I could use the teams. So result will be the teams I know because I have only taken the teams Chennai Super Kings. So wherever these two columns are the same, only those records will be fetched. So now if I run it, you can see that from 16 now only 10 records are coming because Chennai has only won 10 matches. But the interesting thing is if you look at the ID field, now these IDs are not in sequential order, right? You see here we have 2, 3. That means these two matches were played sequentially. But then we have 5. That means there was another match in between 3 and 5, 4, which probably Chennai lost, right? Then you have 6, 7, which Chennai won continuously. But then you have 11, 12. Okay, again there is a 13th match which Chennai lost, and then you have 14, 15 and 16, right? So 14, 15 and 16 basically is a streak of 3 continuous matches. Same way you have for 5, 6, 7 as well, right? So the logic that I can build here is I can just tell ID, that is this column, minus, I'll use the row number function again, and I'm just going to copy the same thing from above. Row number, partition by teams, order by the same thing. Okay, and I'll just call it like difference. Okay, the difference. Now if I run this, now you can see that wherever the row numbers are in sequence or sequential order, this difference will basically be of the same value. Okay, why? Because when I got this row number here, it will again be starting from 1 until 10 because now there are 10 records. So 2 minus 1, or just for the sake of making it more clear for you to understand, I'll just call it like, let's say temp rn. Okay, and if I run this now, you can see that I had all of this data from the CT that I got. Then I created this row number here. Okay, this basically has 1 to 10. And now I'm trying to find a logic such that wherever there is a streak, I want to group them into the same ID. Okay, so here you can see 2 minus 1 is 1, 3 minus 2 is 1, right? So then I have a streak 5, 6, 7. So 5 minus 3 is 2, 6 minus 4 is 2, 7 minus 5 is 2. Okay, so wherever the numbers are sequential, if I subtract it with the row number, I will get the same value. Okay, I'm going to use this logic to build, basically fetch all the winning streak. Okay, so now you can see in this data, here I have a streak, right? Because this all three record belongs to the same group 2, and here I have a streak. All of these three record belongs to the group 6. Now, once I have this, I can just use the count window function to basically count in for each of these groups how many records are present, right? And that is how I'll get my maximum streak. So what I'll do here is, I don't need this row number, I'll remove that. I'll run this, let it be as it is, and I'll just move this into another CT. Okay, and let's say I'm just going to give another name, and let's say the name that I will give is CTE diff, right? We are finding the difference, or basically grouping it. So I'll just put this inside the parenthesis, and then here I'm just going to say select star from CTE diff. If I run it, I'm still getting the same. But what I want to do here is I want to count, right? Wherever there is this group, I want to count how many records are present in each of those groups. So what I'll do here is I'll just select this one, and I'll say count of 1 over, and I'm again going to use the same thing that I have mentioned here. I'll use that, but I also need to use the frame clause. Okay, if I don't use the frame clause, you might know that SQL will not get access to all the 3 records, so the count will not be right. But I'll keep it as it is for now, and I'm going to call it like, let's say, streak. Okay, if I run this, you can see that I'm getting the streak. So this belongs to one group, but the count is not right. The count should have ideally been 3 for all of these 3 records, because the total number of records here is 3, right? But I'm not getting the correct records here. And one more thing is that I'm doing partition by teams, but it's not just by teams. If I do partition by teams, it's going to create one partition for all of this record. But my partition should also be based on the diff, right? So I'll say teams comma diff. Okay. If I run this now you can see that in this I'm still getting the wrong count, but I can fix that by adjusting the frame clause, and I'll say range between unbounded preceding and unbounded following. Okay, if I run this now you can see that wherever I have a streak, the count, it's basically telling how many records are present in that streak. So 3 records here, and I think here also 3 records. Okay, so this is basically, I am almost there. I can group the data on the teams and then fetch the maximum streak. So I will get the maximum streak for each team. So I can just do that by, I'll just move this to the right. And now I'll just give a CT like CTE final. Okay. And I'll just keep this as it is. And here I'll just tell select from CTE final group by the teams, right? And then I will say teams, and I'm just going to fetch the maximum of streak. Okay, and I'll name it like max winning streak. Okay, and let's say I'll just put order by teams, comma, or let's say I'll just put the order by this winning streak. Okay, if I run this, because I have filtered the data just for one team, I'm just getting data for one team, and for the maximum winning streak for Chennai is 3. Okay, now let's say instead of Chennai, I'll remove this filter itself. Okay, now if I just remove the filter, then hopefully the query should work for all the 10 teams. Okay, now you can see that for all the 10 teams, I am getting the streak. So for Kolkata has 1, 2, but I'll do one thing, I'll just put in the descending order. So the maximum streak is at the top. So Chennai has the maximum streak of 3, Gujarat also same, and Bangalore has 2, and Hyderabad has 2, and all of this. Okay, so this is basically my solution, but the problem is still not over. Okay, because let's do one thing. I'm just going to expand this. This is my query, but the problem is still not over, because if I go back into my problem statement, they asked us to do some updates, right? Now let us do that updates. Now I already have some scripts that I created to do this update, so I don't waste time updating them here. I'll just paste them here. So first and foremost, I want to update for match number 17, okay? And I want to make Chennai won that match. So if I just show you the data in that table first, select star from IPL results. If I go down here, okay, so in this match number 17, you can see that Rajasthan won the match against Chennai, right? But if I update this, okay, and the reason why I want to update this is because let's say if I just do another filter here where let's say home team equal to Chennai, or let's say if away team is equal to Chennai. I just want to see all the matches that Chennai has played. So all the 16 matches, you can see that they won 2 matches continuously here, then they won 3 matches here, and Rajasthan actually beat them in this middle match here. If this is updated to Chennai, then their winning streak should be 6, right? So I want to update that particular match, that is match number 17, to Chennai winning it, so that our query should still work and it should still show as the streak should be 6 at that time. So I'll run this. So the update is done. And now if I run my solution to this particular problem, that is this whole solution, now you can see that the winning streak is 6. Okay, so based on the changes in the data, this query is still working. Now one more update is I want to make an update where I make Bangalore lose all the matches. Okay, so for example, if I just take Bangalore, I'll just change this to Bangalore and this to Bangalore. Okay, and if I just show you the result here, you can see that out of 14 matches, Bangalore has won some of the matches. Now I want to update such that Bangalore loses all the matches. Now don't take it personally. I am a big fan of Bangalore. I am an RCB fan. But just for the sake of showing you how our query would look if a team did not win any match. So I'll update this. And now let's say if I just show you here, you can see that Bangalore has not won any match, okay, in the results, right? Now if I run my query, let's see if it works. Now if I run my query, you can see that I'm only getting 9 records. So that means my query is not working when a team does not win any match. And I think the reason why I'm losing one of the teams is mainly because of this join condition here, right? Because here I'm checking somewhere here if the results is equal to the team. I'm only looking for the teams which has at least one match, right? And that is why I'm losing any team that has probably not won any match. Now, how I can fix that is in my final output here, or in my final query here, I can do a left join, or in fact, I want to move this table as my right table, and the left table will basically be the CT teams, because CT teams has information about all the teams, right? So I'll just put it here. I'll call it T, and this one I'll call it F, and I want to join like T dot teams equal to F dot teams. Okay, and here I just want to fetch T dot teams, so all the teams will show up, and then here also I'll say T dot teams, and I think that's all. Now let me run this, and now you can see that Bangalore is actually showing up. Okay, but it is null. Ideally, I do not want it to be null. I want it to probably be 0. So I'll use a callis function here. So I'll say callis comma 0, and okay, and now let me run this. Now you can see that I'm getting the final output and Bangalore is also present. Okay, so this is basically my solution to this particular problem. Okay, it's a little lengthy solution, but I hope you understand the concept. Okay, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow with another interesting problem. Bye.